Is your anterior pelvic tilt in keeping you from sleeping comfortably at night? By the end of this video, you will learn how sleeping positions affect your spine and how to modify the sleeping positions to make your back more comfortable when you sleep. If you want to learn how to retrain your body and then movement safely and then effectively and then move better, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every week. I am Taro Iwamoto. I am a Feldenkrais practitioner. With my background in athletic training, physical therapy, martial arts, and the Feldenkrais method, I have helped many people like you overcome and then move beyond the pain and the limitations. Now it's your turn, and let's dive in. What is anterior pelvic tilt? It describes a position of the pelvis or direction of the pelvic motion relative to your thigh bones and the femurs. So in this case, anterior means that it is moving forward or it is rotated forward directions. So the pelvis is, say this is a neutral, and then I'm moving my pelvis into anterior directions, the forward directions. So now my pelvis is rotated slightly forward or anteriorly and relative to my thighs. And what happens to the lower back as a result of the position of the pelvis or the movement of the pelvis into that direction is that it increases, naturally, it increases the curvature of your lower back, lumbar spine. And so that's the anterior pelvic tilt. So it is naturally, it is an extension stress to the lower back. It is important to mention that just because you have an anterior pelvic tilt, it doesn't mean that you're going to have a pain. Or it doesn't mean bad, just simply because you have an anterior pelvic tilt. As a matter of fact, there are many people who have an anterior pelvic tilt but have no back pain whatsoever. So if you don't really have any problem, even though you do have an anterior pelvic tilt, or you don't really have to change anything, why bother? However, since you are watching this video, I am assuming that you are probably having some discomfort in your lower back area because of the anterior pelvic tilt. So let's talk about how to make your back more comfortable while you sleep. So first, let's look at sleeping on your back. So when you sleep on your back with your legs straight, so what happens is that the weight of your pelvis, because it's heavier, and then it sinks further down into the bed, which will exaggerates that anterior pelvic tilt, which will increase the extension or the curvature on your low back, like that. So if you are already uncomfortable with your anterior pelvic tilt because of the increase in extension in your low back, you're probably not going to really enjoy lying down with your legs straight. But you have been sleeping on your back, and so this is the most familiar or comfortable position, but it's not comfortable. So what do? And how to reduce an anterior pelvic tilt, right? Easy thing you can do is you can roll up a towel or the blanket, or you can use an extra pillow and place them under your knees. What we do is it is going to move the pelvis into the direction, it's into the direction of the posterior. So it's going to counteract the force of the going forward. Right? So as you reduce the anterior pelvic tilt, it reduces an extension stress to your low back. And that's the easiest way and to modify the sleeping position while you're lying down on your back. And the higher the support underneath, the more posterior pelvic tilt direction that you're going to move the pelvis. So you do have to experiment how much of the support that you want to use. Okay? And you might get away just using a small pillow underneath, and that's maybe just takes a little bit of edge off, and then you feel much more comfortable. Or you may need to use 2 pillows or a little bit thicker blanket. So you do have to just experiment that. So that's simple, easy way to modify sleeping position on your back. And now let's talk about sleeping position on your side. So when you sleep, from my observation and experience, and people who have discomfort sleeping on the back because of the anterior pelvic tilt, and then they often choose to sleep on the side. The reason why is it tends to keep the pelvis in a more than neutral alignment. But what you want to pay attention is the position of your legs. So the straighter your legs are, and then the more anterior pelvic tilt directions the pelvis is moving, therefore more extension through your back. If you don't really like that and you don't really feel comfortable with that positions, and simply you're going to just draw your knees up a little bit higher, right? And then that will move the pelvis into the posterior pelvic tilt, which will reduce the extension through your back. So that's easy modification. And you may also try placing the pillow between your legs. That will keep the pelvis in a more neutral alignment too. You may like that, or it may not really change all that much, but that's just, that's really all you need to look at when you're sleeping sideways, and just simply just a plain and with position of the legs. Straighter the legs are, the more anterior pelvic tilt, more extension your back is going to be. More flex your legs are, your hips are, and then more posterior pelvic tilt and less extension through your low back. So finally, if you're sleeping on your stomach, and I would say for people who have an extension stress in the low back, is sleeping on the stomach is the hardest position, the most uncomfortable position typically. However, if you are a stomach sleeper, then you've been sleeping this way for many, many years. But then over the time, then it becomes less comfortable. Then you have to change the positions. But if you wish, and if you could, that you would like to sleep on your stomach, and then there's a way to make it a little more comfortable. So if you're sleeping on your stomach, right, because of the position, you can see how the lumbar spine is going to sag down into the direction of the table, the floor. That increases the extension through the back, that it exaggerates an anterior pelvic tilt. So you can use again the pillow or the blanket and place them under, and this is obviously too big for a little guy like this, but you can see placing this pillow underneath the pelvis is going to bring the pelvis into the direction of the posterior pelvic tilt, which will reduce the curvature on your low back. Okay, so we talked about 3 different sleeping positions and how each sleeping position affects the spine and affects the pelvic tilt, and how to modify in each sleeping positions to reduce the amount of the curvature extension in your back, and by looking at the position of the legs and using the pillow or the blanket to change and to reduce the extension and reduce an anterior pelvic tilt. And by the way, comment below if you had to change the sleeping positions because of your back discomfort, maybe associated with the anterior pelvic tilt. You used to sleep on your stomach, but you can't sleep on your stomach anymore because of the pain, discomfort. Now you're sleeping on your side or on your back, or in any way. So let me know. If you want to improve your back pain, be sure to grab your free movement guide to pain-free back at the link below.
Check out these videos, and if you like this video, and hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe and share with your friends. Comment below how helpful you found this video was. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Happy mindful movement. Bye bye.